All right, it's that time once again. The Real Deal with Courtney Harden. Let's get it. All right. Welcome to another episode of The Real Deal. I am your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Glad to be back on another Saturday, hot Saturday here in Philly, July 23rd. Very excited to have my next guest. She's been on the show before, but before I bring her back on, you can follow the shows on all social media platforms and all podcast platforms, Spotify, Google Play, Spreaker, Apple. Also, follow the show at Get the Real Deal on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Follow me on all those social media platforms. Just download the app, BS3TV. BS3TV, we are live on Roku as well. I mean, wherever you get podcasts or anything like that, you can just download it. Download BS3TV. Download The Real Deal with Courtney Harden. You can get all of our shows from travel to spirituality, from sports to comedy, TV, movie reviews, a little bit of everything. So, but like I said, this is a special show because I have someone that is on the ground of Eugene, Oregon. This is all about the track and field. The World Championships it's been amazing. This whole entire 9 days, and they're on 9th day now, I think 10th day. It's just been amazing. But she's been locked in and everything too. So I am going to bring her in as we speak. Tiffney Sports N Heels. I'm glad to get her back on. It's her second time on the show. Welcome to the show. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me again.
Yes, definitely. I really appreciate it. She does sports, fitness, travel, lifestyle. She's a blogger, podcaster. And like I said, she's on the ground. She's in Eugene, Oregon. So she's just feeling all that electricity. She's feeling everything that's there. She's working there and she's watching. And I mean, it's been amazing, but we're going to get into all of that. But how are you doing? And like I said, I know you said you're tired because you're 3 hours behind in Oregon, but at Hayward Field. But how have you been since the last time we talked, like maybe about a month ago or so?
Well, for a lot of people who know me personally, this trip has been, I take great trips.
Mm-hmm.
I always have great times no matter where I go. And doesn't have to be a world championship to do that.
Right.
But those who know me personally know that I have a different level of affection when it comes to the sport of track and field. I did it as a youth. I also did it in high school, grade school, college. I coached at one point in my life. I've always been very close to the sport. I watch as much streamed track and field as possible. I have pretty much every subscription you have to have in order to watch some of the U.S. Compete globally. And now I'm a certified USATF official, and I've been officiating meets the last couple of years. And so I'm really close to the sport, in not just in function, but also in passion and excitement around it. And being at the World Championships in U.S. for first time on U.S. soil and witnessing some of the performances that I've seen is mind blowing. I tweeted the other day that I feel like, for me, this World Championships is my Super Bowl. It's my, NBA Finals. It's my, World Series. It's my World Cup. Watching these athletes compete and being here to see that is what it feels like. I feel like I'm watching real life superheroes in human form just do some incredible, amazing things. I've been calling them the Avengers all week because that's really what I feel like I'm around. These people are at the last minute. Some of them are doing some, just pushing their bodies to the limit, and being able to be in the atmosphere to witness some of that has been absolutely mind blowing.
Yes, it has been. And I knew we were, like I said, we talked before, like a month ago, and we were talking about, how you were going to the Worlds, and like I've known you for a while, so I know the passion, as you said, and I mean, you live and breathe this for real. So everyone that's just, even just a casual fan, no, you're way beyond that. You've lived it, you breathed it, you're working in it, you're there. Like I said, you're there on the ground, you're live, watching it live and everything too. So I said, I got to get her back on. I got to get Tiffney back on the show and talk about this. Amazing. I mean, this week has just been amazing. Like me and my wife, we watch the World, we watch the Olympics and everything too. And we're like, as you know me, I love track and field too. So I love the athletes, their stories and all that too. But something about this week has been just electric, because it's been, like I said, some world record breaking things have been going on. And it's just been, like I said, it's been great. So I got to give a couple shout outs. Mr. Ben Sutterth himself, the creator of BS3 Network, is in. He says, good afternoon. Also, shout out to Mike Patton as well, the General MP himself. He said it's been fun to watch this action on track. Yes, it has been. So, So my first question to you is like the atmosphere. How has it been? Seeing it on TV is different, but I know being there and covering it and watching it. How has the atmosphere been, and how's your experience so far?
Before I came to Eugene, I always heard about Hayward Magic, and I know I'm corny because of my love for track and field. I am 100% understand. I am a track nerd. Shout out to Citrus Magazine, who came up with that term of track nerds. But I'm a track nerd. Everything that you think about a nerd, and then you add that to track, that's me. So from the moment I entered Hayward, I felt magic immediately.
Right.
The fans are so engaged in what's happening. Whether it's javelin going on the same time as long jump, or whatever is happening, the fans are engaged, and they're engaged. Hayward, what they don't tell you is you're so close to the athletes who are competing. When they walk out on the track, you're 50 meters away from them, if that much, and you can see them. They can hear you. We can give them immediate feedback. We can tell them, great job, great effort. Congratulations when they run by you with their medals. And as a fan who lives in the U.S. and watches these worlds meet, it's a different level of experience. And you can tell that U.S. fans are really excited, especially those who are real track fans, not the casual fans.
Right.
The real track fans are really excited because we have such close proximity to these athletes. We only get to compete on this kind of stage on television.
Right.
So it's magical. People are smiling. There's people who are sitting in seats that don't belong to them, because people don't care. They just want to be close to the action. They just want to be in the environment. A lot of people are not even sitting in their seats. There's a section where everyone kind of walks around, and people are literally just walking the stadium. They just want to be in the presence of the magic. They just want to be around it. They just want to watch the performances and cheer on their favorite athletes. And that's what makes it really fun.
Yes, and you could tell, like, even like watching we're in Hayward, and like I said, I've never been there, but as you said, I'm sure as soon as you stepped on the track or just near it, you said you probably felt the magic, felt the energy, and you can see it on TV. The energy is high, and I know this is the World Championship, so it's probably a little different from anything else, but maybe besides the Olympics. But I mean, like you said, the Hayward Magic is for real, and it sounds like it is.
And you know what? I think I know why. I think I know why it's a little different, because I could tell you there's one other place that I've been and I kind of felt that magic, and that is in Philly.
Yeah, yes, the pin relays.
The pin relays. Take the pin relays and then put it in Oregon with a different set of events. I mean, not a different set of a different class of athletes, but still the same. More of the class of athletes that people really come to. They come to see the high school kids, but they come to see some of those USA versus the world or Jamaica versus the world meet relay races. So it's that kind of magic feeling, because you're enclosed in, you're all together, where normal tracks are like open. There's no, not a whole lot of structures around. Hayward is built so that you're all kind of enclosed into this donut of magic. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And like when we talked, I told you we had just came back from the pin relays. Like that's the last time, and that was like a spectacle in itself. because it reminded me, it was like a carnival in a way, like some like a like a state fair in a
Yeah, you
way.
never know what you're gonna see. You never
Yeah,
know what you're gonna
yeah,
see.
right, right. So you go out there, and that was my wife's first time. I had been there before, so my first time years ago was it was just like I was like, man, this is crazy because like the athletes are just walking around, and
Same thing. Same
yeah,
thing here. You're
Sonia
in the
Richards Ross was
stands.
walking. Yep,
Yeah, you're in the stands with former athletes, current
yep,
athletes, their families. You never know who you're sitting next to.
yeah,
So, I mean, this is not like any other sport. You're not going to sit next to, you know, a football player's family.
mm,
Hardly, unless
right,
you're, but this is like whether you're in the 200 section or you're in the 100 section, whether you're on the back stretch or whether you're in the first second, third turn, or you're at the finish line. You just never know who you're going to be, looking around and, walking through the crowd. I've seen Jasmine Camacho Quinn,
mm,
who is the current Olympic gold medalist. Um, I've seen Christian Coleman. I've seen Sonia Richards Walsh, which I did take a picture with. I've seen Lewis Johnson, who actually is from Cincinnati. A lot of people don't know that. Lewis
mm,
Johnson is from
yeah,
Cincinnati, Ohio, and I had a chance to talk to him for a minute. But you see I saw Laylee Johnson, who is
wow,
running today, this
yeah,
morning, in about an hour, running in
right,
her first heats of the 100 hurdles. If
yeah.
you guys don't know who Laylee Johnson is, she was the second place finisher, I think, in the U.S.
I think so. Yeah,
Championships behind
yeah,
Kenny Harrison.
yeah, Kenny, yep.
Um, she is an unsigned athlete who has invested in her own self and got herself to the world championship. So meeting some of these athletes who are up and coming. I've watched athletes like Sidney Mclaughlin since they were in high school, officiated when she ran at Kentucky. I'm in the Kentucky Association,
Yeah,
so
right.
seeing some of these kids and then watching her break a world record in front of me,
Mhm.
it's just not the same kind of sport as anything else. You just have so much access to these guys throughout their entire careers, which really makes seeing it on U.S. soil really exciting.
Yeah, it's been great, and I love the the coverage. I know we talked about that before, how the coverage should be, and it still needs things because there was times I guess during this week, some people I've been watching Simon Richard Ross says she's been on doing her Instagram lives before she goes to the stadium, and she was talking about sometimes we're on NBC, the prime time, sometimes we're on Peacock, we're on USA, and it was on USA yesterday. And she said, just have to find it. But I think they've done pretty good job of putting out there, say, okay, we're on Peacock here. We're on, you can watch the replays on Olympic Channel, whatever you can. But as you said, you could just walk right into and see all these, these athletes, the broadcasters, and it's been amazing. And this has been to me, one of the better weeks of sports in general because you just don't know what you're going to see
And and it's
every day.
and if you have a ticket, no
Yeah.
matter how much you paid for your ticket, if you have a
Hmm.
ticket and you're just walking around the stadium, you literally are the way they have it built where the warm-up area is before the athletes even go out. The warm-up
Yeah.
area, I mean, people are just standing at these fences are able to look into and watch their favorite athletes warm up. How do they get ready for these meets?
Yeah.
What are they doing in the warm-up area? They're practicing their starts. Some of them may be practicing their handoffs or it,
Mhm.
you just have this incredible access to an athlete before they compete. Um, when they're not competing and also when they're competing, you've got full access to be able to see your favorite athletes, and that's what makes it so much different. And I'm they make it hard for you to find track and field on any medium.
Yeah.
It's streaming 1 minute, it's on a B channel the next minute. We just talked about it flipping from USA to Peacock to Olympic Channel to
CNBC.
NBC,
Yup. CNBC.
CNBC, and
Hmm.
and you might not get, if you're a field event person, which we've had some amazing field event
Yeah.
um,
Hmm.
results, this last week, but finding them has been difficult. So we've got to do a better job in this sport of making sure people have access. And shout out to the track community, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they're starting
Yes.
their own podcast. They're getting press passes to these events and broadcasting live. They're doing interviews with the athletes, off site, on site. They're giving us access to the athletes that we've never had before. We're hearing about their actual stories from the
Hmm.
track community through these vessels versus getting them on network television where it should be.
Yes,
Um,
yes,
yeah.
agreed,
So
agreed.
shout out to the track community, man. They've been making sure that, if no one else is going to make sure track and field gets highlighted and all the wonderfulness and the stories and the triumph and the defeat behind it, they are definitely making sure each other's stories are told. And these are current athletes, these are former athletes, just getting together and saying, how can we put, track and field more media out there? And they've taken it upon themselves, and it's been fantastic what they've been doing.
Yes, you're right. I totally agree, and you're right. If like you said, yes, the streaming and the podcasting is great because they're trying to get more access to track and field. And like I said, we had a good conversation before, and we're talking about that. And it's interesting you had retweeted what Fred Curley said, which goes back to what you were saying. Netflix, if you really want to make one of the greatest shows on Netflix, tune into every track athlete's life. We can show the real grind of any other sport. I thought that's just what you're talking about. Like, Netflix, you guys want to jump on Disney Plus or ESPN Plus, some by Peacock. Yes, you need to make a show about a track athlete's life, the grind and what they have to
It
what they
it
have to
needs
go
to
through.
be like, what's that show that the NFL did when they were getting ready for their
Oh,
season? Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks.
They
Yes,
need to do
yes,
a Hard Knocks track and field. Follow
yes.
several athletes as
Hmm.
they prepare for next year's World Championships, which are in Budapest.
Yep.
And I mean, it doesn't sound, for people who are not, oh, we don't really, if they understood that
Hmm.
there are or were current USATF athletes, athlete or two,
Yeah.
who pay for their own stuff.
Yeah.
They pay for their training, they pay for their travel. All of this they're not getting money from someone to do this. They're
Hmm.
unsponsored. One guy's living in his car, dude, because he couldn't afford to pay his rent and pay a coach, pay
Wow.
for training. It's got to stop, and this has to be the year. And I think these athletes and the track community who have taken it upon themselves to, you know, put these stories out there and be transparent with what's really happening so that we can begin to fix it. As fans, we're wondering, what can we do? And that just means what we can do is make sure every opportunity we can that we, retweet these athletes, retweet their experiences, um, bring them on our podcast, because
Yeah.
they're willing to come and talk. They
Yeah.
want to know, they want to get their stories out there, and this is going to be a great medium for that. So, bring them on your podcast, bring them on your show, write blogs about them, do TikToks about them, whatever it is that's going to, what I mean. I
Yeah.
mean, I did a video on my Instagram last night of me watching Sydney's world record right in front of me.
Yeah.
And
You're right
that
there.
video within 5 minutes got 20,000 views on
See?
this video. And it wasn't, I mean, I'm not a video editor. It's just a simple reel. And that's what we can do, is
Hmm.
we as the fans can, you know, make sure we're putting as much content about the sport as possible.
Yep, yep, I totally agree, I try to do my part. Like I said, I know you how keyed and locked in you are with it. Like you breathe this and everything too. Like you said, a track nerd, and but I love that though. I'm like I said, I'm a huge fan. I love just to. I've always enjoyed it. I enjoyed the stories. I love the record breaking, and we're gonna get into let's get transition to that and what you've seen last night. Sidney Mclaughlin winning 400-meter hurdles once. I should say dominating the 100-meter hurdles and 400-meter hurdles, and did it in another record-breaking fashion. And she keeps just continue to break her own record. I mean, she just broke her record 3 weeks ago at the trials, and now she does it again at the World Championships. Take me through that. Just like you said, you're there. You were right there, seeing it and witnessing it. Seeing it on TV, it was just amazing. Like she's just how much she's done since how young she's still young. How young she started out at 17, I believe, and then
16.
just
She was in
16,
the Olympics
six
at
Olympics at
16.
16, right? And then just getting better and better and better. Uh, Talk us through that and how was that electricity of that and of that meet and everything too and all that.
Well, what I can tell you is you don't see a whole lot of athletes like a Sidney McLaughlin.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
I don't, male or female, you don't see a whole lot of, we don't see a whole lot of that.
Yeah.
That is watching her last night. I mean, I've been watching her, like I said, since, she was on a junior circuit, high school, and watching her do that last night. First of all, I didn't even know it was possible, but she makes things that we don't know are possible look really easy and more than possible to do.
Yeah.
Since she broke that, people are saying, oh, well, she could do 49. And I have all faith that she could actually run, if she wanted to. I think she could run, sub 50 in the 400 hurdle. That's crazy. Watching it last night, literally the third hurdle. And for those of you who don't know, the 400 hurdles are hurdles placed in the 400, right?
Yep.
And you have to
around
run
the track. Yep.
around the track, and you have to run those hurdles while running a 400. And Sidney got out so fast, and I knew that she was going to do something special when she got to the second hurdle, and she had almost caught Laylee Muhammad. I mean, like after the third hurdle, she was neck and neck with Laylee Muhammad, and I'm like, this girl is I don't know what she's doing, but this is ridiculous. Like, this is ridiculous.
You've never seen it before, right?
No, you've never seen it before. And then she comes out of the curb after the fourth hurdle and comes into the curb, probably around 250 mark. There was no one around her.
Yeah.
There was no one around her.
Right.
She came around that bend completely by herself. And then she ran by me, and she's in the 400 hurdles, and there's no one with her. She's by herself. It looks like it's practice. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. And you're already cheering because she's so far ahead. You're already wow because she's so far ahead. But then you got to remember there's other racers in this race.
Yeah, the
little Muhammad's in there, Femke Bow's in there. And I actually called that race. I've been saying for a week, I said it's going to be Sidney, Femke Bow, and then
Dalila Muhammad. Okay.
Those three are a class on their own. And I knew that they would a lot of people thought, well, Laylee will come in first or second and Sidney come in first or second. No, I said no. Femke Bow is going to get that silver.
Yep.
Because she's been constantly improving for the last couple of years, and this year particularly, I knew she would surpass Laylee, and knowing that Laylee wasn't 100%.
Yeah. You could, and then she's talked about that too. She had COVID, and she's still recovering from that, and she was the defending world champion. Coming into this season in the Worlds. But Sidney, going back to Sidney, so okay, me and my wife, we were talking. I told her, I said, okay, ready for the race. I said, okay, Sidney's she's gonna break the record. She's gonna break her own record. We just predicted that. What is she gonna run? Okay, so I said 51.2. I said that's if she run. Okay, my wife said 51.4. I believe she said. I said okay. I said, can she get under? Can she do 50? Can she get 50?
We've been saying it for 3 weeks that she can get 50.
Yeah, 50. And then so when she gets around that turn, she started off so aggressive, so fast. That's usually the little Muhammad. That's her signature. Start off fast and try to put away the competition. Sidney, like you said, she's progressed as a runner hurdler for over the last couple of years. And you could tell how locked in she was, how focused she was. Even when they introduced her name, sometimes she waits to the crowd.
But I think all athletes are locked in and focused.
They are. Yeah, you're right.
I just think she's special.
She's a different,
when she came around the curve, everyone's screaming at the top of their lungs because I'm in the last 100. So I get to see her last 150. I get to see really well. I'll say, 150. I get to see really well. And my section, the stadium is just going nuts.
Yes.
But the second, it's like when she crossed the finish line, we're celebrating, but we're kind of holding our breath to see what the time was because we didn't know what the time was.
Right.
And we look up, and it's like 50 point, and oh my goodness, it was just the crowd just erupted when they announced that it was a world record, and to be there, and people were just like high fiving, and it's a lot of people from other countries. This is what's wonderful is that we get to experience this with other nations, and so there's Jamaicans, and I'm next to this guy from Grenada, and we're high fiving. Everybody's just like, we just saw a world record. It was crazy.
Just to witness that, I stood up. Like I said, as soon as I know, and you're right, everybody's always locked in. She's just a different level. You could just tell. You could tell with certain athletes like her. I would go like Serena Williams and others. like they know, like they're in that pocket, as I call it. They like, okay, I know that something special is going to happen. I'm in this moment, all these moments, something's going to happen. So I stood up. I think it was on the turn when she, like I said, she jumped out. She was already jumped ahead of Delilah already. And after the third hurdle, and we're like, where's everybody else? Like, that's how it was. So I actually stood up, and I hardly, like, seen so many sports moments, and I'm like, this is going to be special. This is going to be under 51. This is really going to be 50 something. And 50.6 is like, wow, what more? Okay, let me ask you this, because I've been talking about this with other people. Do you think now she's accomplished, she's the world, she's the Olympics, she's the world champion, she's got the record, is she going to just to do just the 400 now? Is that the next step for her?
I think so.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think she goes after that very old 400 meter world record.
Mm-hmm.
I think she does it. I think she does it by Worlds next year.
Okay.
I think up into Worlds next year, we see Sidney run some amazing times, and and I think we see her switch to the 400. What does she have left to? I mean, other than going for sub 50, going 49 in the 400 hurdles, what else does she have left to accomplish in it?
Right.
And
That's
she may have something. We don't know. I'm not Sidney Mclaughlin. I can't tell you. She may have a desire to go, 49 seconds in the 400 hurdles, and then maybe switch to the 400, or maybe she doesn't want to run the 400 at all. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm speculating that this 22-year-old young lady has accomplished Edwin Moses type achievement in this event, and perhaps it's an opportunity for her to maybe do something that no one's done, and become a world champion or Olympic gold medalist or world record holder in the 400 hurdles and the 400.
Yeah.
It could happen,
It could.
And then she becomes a medalist in the 4x4, and then she's the only athlete to ever have a 4x4, 400 hurdle, and a 400 world record, or gold medalist or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just a medalist, in general. Like, I mean, that's how great she is, and you're seeing, like you said, you're seeing the progression. You saw the progression. You're seeing it now. She's at the top of she's at the top, and I can see it too. I can see her transition into speculating. You said transition right to the 400, and because she's that type of athlete, and just the way, like I said, that race was, we've seen her do these things, but now she's putting I think she wants to put records out there now that would be unachievable. Like, okay, you're gonna run a 49 something, like, yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna put that out where no one's going to touch it.
1919, like,
yeah,
everybody thought
right.
maybe in the 200 that Noah Lyles and the crew would break the world record, but 1919 is
it's ridiculous.
1919, a world championship 1919.
Yeah.
Or anything under 20 seconds after all the rounds that you have to run in these races to do that. Sydney broke a world record after running rounds of the 400, like
right,
400
exactly.
hurdles.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, so that is a very difficult thing to do, and to drop down to 1919. I mean, we don't see these kind of times, every year. These are multi-year kind of records. So, it's definitely special.
You don't, this is special. You just don't see that, and you're right. I think that's a great point. I think out of Bolton's, almost, he said the same thing yesterday, where he was like, Sidney McLaughlin's putting records out there where you got to put him up there with Bolt's 1919, his 9.58 in the 100, those type of records, where, like, Michael Johnson, when he had the records, it's like, it's just one of those things.
Yeah. Which made Noah Lyles breaking Michael Johnson's American record really special. Yeah. I mean, it's still special, right?
It's still special. Yes,
it's absolutely special. And we've seen some, amazing things, and so we don't want to make it seem like, we're downplaying American records, because any kind of record, meet records, championship records, those are hard to do at this level with the number of rounds you have in your legs already.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of Noah Lyles, and let's go to him in the 200, the American sweep in the 200. What'd you think of that race? And then we'll go to the women's too, the women's 200 as well. What do you think of the 200 race? That was another electric night as well.
So before I tell you what I thought about it, first of all, I thought it was fantastic, but it turned out to be better than what I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
Tuesday night, for those of you who don't know, I actually worked the World Championship in a
Yeah.
capacity with the athletes. Athlete Experience is what team I was on. So I didn't buy tickets to the meet to watch, except for Friday. Yesterday, what's today? Today's Saturday.
It's
Okay,
Saturday,
I don't
right?
even know what day it is.
I know. I'm
For
with you.
I bought tickets for Friday, but that was the first ticket I bought. Then I bought a ticket for Saturday and I bought a ticket for Sunday. But I didn't buy a ticket for Monday through Thursday.
Okay.
I thought, oh, I could watch the 200 at a bar or something. So Tuesday night, I said, let me just look and see if there's any decent single ticket available for Thursday night to watch the 200. And I found one, and it was right at the finish line.
Okay.
So I'm
Right.
in the third row to the finish line, and so
Wow.
watching Noah Lyles, and Kenny,
Kenny
and
Bederick. Yep.
yeah, uh,
Knighton.
and Knighton come across
Yeah.
that line. First of all, I'm here.
Mhm.
I'm here, but I'm also I have friends who were on my summer league team who are from my hometown
Okay.
who came this week as well.
No doubt.
And so before the meet, we went and ate and we talked about it, and we had our predictions. And one of the guys was Team Knighton, and I just knew Loyal Eyes was going to pull it off. So I was already excited, but to watch those guys come across that finish line right in front of me, and Noah's got so much personality,
Yeah.
and then to see the 1, 2, 3, right there, it was very electric. It was very electric, very
Yeah.
electric.
And Noah Lyles, and I was just because it was a lot of talk about Knighton and being 18 years old, and he just had there was a lot, and I know there's probably some pressure. I'm sure I gotta do this, and Noah Lyles had beat him in the U.S. in the trials, so it's like okay, let's see what Noah Lyles, and the defending champion at the Worlds as well. So I figure like okay, Lyles is gonna think like, don't forget about me, do not forget about me
You know what
because
that reminds me of? It reminds me that Knighton kind of reminds me of Sydney's story. So
hmm
Sydney at 16, she didn't
yeah,
come out and bust Delilah's butt, right?
right, yeah, yeah, right.
Knighton didn't come out and bust Noah Lyle's
Well,
butt.
yes,
He did not.
yeah, it's
But
true.
everybody got to get that
Yep.
one thing, that one little hit
hmm
before you jump and parallel to your next level. You got to
Yeah.
have that one race that
One.
kind of brings you like, okay,
Yes.
now I understand everything that I need to do
What I
in
need to
order
do.
to be in the
Yep.
front.
All your preparation and everything. Because Michael Johnson, they interviewed Lewis Johnson. He interviewed him. And Noah Lyles took a picture with Michael Johnson. Two of the fastest Americans. And Michael Johnson, he broke it down like he did it. I mean, I don't know if you've seen it, but you definitely would enjoy that. And he was talking about how like the technical things of how to run a 200. I was like, okay, he's the guy that can actually talk about it.
Right.
So he was talking about how Knighton. He said he's 18, he's learning. And once he, like I said, once he gets that one race, he said he podium at 18. He
Yes.
still got a bronze. So, and he was right there. Noah Lyles just, again, he just saw
It
like,
was just
okay,
Noah's time. It
it was
was
just Noah's
Noah's. It
time.
was no. It's been
Yeah.
Noah's time.
Yeah, it's been his
It's been
time.
Noah's time. But
Mhm.
Knighton,
He's coming. He's definitely,
we will
he's a
see
rider.
some incredible things from that young man
Yeah.
as a
Yep.
result of him taking silver.
Right. And that's why Noah Lyles knew, like, yeah, this guy's going to be a problem. So I got to get mine now while I can, as I'm still at peak of my powers, he says, and he's got to do it. But Noah Lyles ran on, a phenomenal race. All three did.
Oh,
And
and
all
Kenny's
three.
Kenny's story. I think he broke his toe earlier this
Yeah,
year,
something
and
like that. Yeah.
I mean, and to come back and be a
Get a
multiple
silver.
middler
Yeah.
at this point,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, it's an incredible thing, and this is those kind of stories, where these kids come from and kind of how they got to where they are and the things that they face. Someone needs to start doing a documentary.
Yes. Agreed.
Someone needs to start documenting this and putting it out there. There's just too many forms of media now that we don't have to rely. It would be wonderful if, Netflix or Hulu or, one of these, even Peacock
Peacock can do it.
does
Yeah.
programming,
Mhm.
pick up one of these stories or some of these stories and put them in documentary form or in show form and allow, American consumers to consume track and field in a different way with a different view and grow to learn their appreciation for them.
Yeah, exactly. And what do you think of the women's 200? And Jamaica again, they dominated. They dominated. We'll go to the 100 too. They dominated the 100 as well.
Yeah, I was
Just
there for that too.
yeah. See, yeah, it's been such a they and in in the 100 men's they they went and did 1, 2, 3 as well. So all those things. It's right. We wrap that up.
Yeah,
In the strength.
this I'll talk about the 200 because again that was right in front of me.
Hmm.
And I knew the second. Well, first of all, when I saw the heat sheets, I knew who was going to be 1, 2, 3. I knew I called it just because looking at the final start list, I knew based on lane draw who was going to be where,
Right.
and it was exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Mm.
I knew Sharika. No one's going to beat Sharika.
No, I know 200. No.
And even though I knew Shelly Ann would take second, I knew Shelly Ann wouldn't have enough to pass Sharika. Sharika's something special, man. She's something
She's
special.
special. And she
She's
said,
special.
and she said after the 100, she got the bronze in the 100, or no,
Yep.
silver in the 100. Yeah, silver in the
Silver in
100.
100.
She got silver in the 100. And then she's like, oh, okay, this is nice, but this is my, this is me.
200
This
is her
is
race.
this
Yep.
is what I
200
race.
is definitely her race.
Yep.
And so her foot speed and her strength, I knew no one was catching her.
Special, real special.
But and that's cool because she's the young girl. I want to see the young kids come up. But Shelly Ann is my hero. She is my hero.
Ooh, man, the way she
She
ran.
is my hero, man.
Oh,
Shelly Ann is 36 years old,
yep.
and I'm not an ageist. Your girl over here 46, and I am a proud 46-year-old woman.
Yep.
And so I'm not ageist by any means. I've seen women my age look and do some incredible things that most people don't think they should be able to do.
Right.
But Shelly Ann doing it, and I love the fact that women like Shelly Ann and women like Allison Felix are showing the world, mostly the men in the world, because women know this. We know that we can go have babies and go back to work. We know that. We do it. We do it every day.
Yes.
It's you hard legs who don't know that we can do that. It's you guys who don't think, oh, it's such a magnificent thing that these people can go back to work after having a baby. Yeah. You're the only ones who think that. We know that.
We are.
So I love that Shelly Ann and Allison, have captured everyone's attention with being, of a higher, a little more seasoned of an athlete than some of these NCAA, kids that are out there. And then going, having children and having families and then coming in and being on this world stage and doing, amazing things. And Shelly Ann, in the 100, I love, she's such a great personality. So you really, no matter what country you're from, you like seeing athletes like Shelly Ann, who, embraces who she is as an athlete. You've watched her, for what, 15 years now. Shelly Ann has been in these world meets and won these amazing medals and done these amazing things for a very long time. So you love to see, when they cross that finish line in those places. So yeah, Jamaican girls have definitely, the 4x1 semis are tonight.
Yep.
The finals are tonight.
Finals are tonight too. Yeah.
The finals are tonight. So there's no semi because we had some. So the finals are tonight. So that's going to be exciting. The U.S. I watched the relays yesterday. They looked good. They looked good. I don't know what do you do? Do you change the order? Do you add somebody else? Like, what do you do?
That's a good question.
Why do you mess with it? Because it's got a beautiful chemistry. Don't mess with it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I think for the men's and the women's, you're right. I think you keep it the way it is.
But I understand there's going to be some, it's very political. It's not track and field. It's not what we think. It's what, the powers that be think.
Yeah.
But as an athlete, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Keep it the way it is. Because the women, the 4x1 women looked very, very strong. I think
and Jenny Prandini, I'd buy Jenny Prandini a drink. The way she gave that baton to TT, I don't know if y'all seen. If you go to my Instagram, it's a close up.
We're watching it. Yep.
And Jenny Prandini basically brought TT's hand to the here's the baton. You're not dropping this baton on my watch.
Yeah,
Right.
like tight grip.
The mother girls might drop the baton. We not dropping the baton.
Tight grip too. She said, "Here you
If
go."
it gets to me, you getting this baton and you gonna run with it.
Yep,
So
you gonna run with it.
it was really great, and the guys looked great yesterday too. And actually,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with you, I was really surprised.
yeah, me
I mean, I
too.
knew they would. I thought who they had running was interesting. I thought the guys having Elijah Hall
Like
on the
all
relay,
Gracie.
that was
Yep.
that was a that was a surprise to me.
Mhm.
But it was a good surprise. I was
Right.
pleasantly surprised
Mhm.
yesterday. And not that I don't have faith in the women. If the US women's 4x1 typically does well. It's the men's who, them the ones
They've had some
they've had
issues
some
over the
they've had some issues with that baton,
yeah,
boy.
baton dropping it or going
Out
past
of
the
the
line,
exchange
the
zones and
change zones. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Right, right, right.
You,
So
you know,
that's
so
it.
I- it should be exciting, and I'm more excited to watch it today after watching them in the early rounds yesterday. They looked
Yeah.
really good. Um, so it's going to be exciting showdown.
It's gonna be a showdown. I agree. I'm 100% with you. You're right. And just the Shelly Ann Fraser Price, what she did, what she's done over her career. She's won 5 of the last 7, I think, world championships. They said, and it's just amazing. Her career has just been, like I said, what she's doing at this age is amazing. It's just amazing to see. And I know Elaine Thompson.
Looking good doing it.
Yeah,
Looking
looking good
real
doing it.
good
Looking
doing
real good doing it. Yeah, looking real good
it.
doing it. She
Yeah.
is. Elaine Thompson, her hero. You could tell like she just hasn't. From your perspective, she hasn't been running like she ran in the Olympics. I don't know if there's something. There's always speculation. There's always something going on.
No,
Is there an
it don't
injury?
ever surprise me. I think
Yeah.
Shelly Ann, I think Elaine Thompson is a Olympic runner.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I think
Gotcha.
the Olympic years are her years that she's an Olympic champion type runner.
Okay.
And I don't see. I'll say it like this. I don't think there's consistency year after year. I think there's like some
Mm,
breaks and gaps in
good point.
consistency. And so that's where I think that's what we kind of see is she had a
Mm,
phenomenal year last year with the Olympics, right, in
yeah.
August last year,
Yeah.
and then the World Championship in July. And I honestly believe Shelly Ann is a World Championship athlete. That's just
That's what
she
it
has.
is.
That's just what she's built to do. Um, so I don't know. I'm not a track and field analyst quite, but I do think that uh, Elaine performs better at
At the
Olympics than
Olympics.
she does at the Worlds, and that's just something I've consistently seen. I might not even be right, but that's what I
No,
see.
no, no. It's a good. I definitely wanted to hear your perspective on that too. And then, like you said, the USA had just been. I'm just glad that they're coming back. They're they're winning. Michael Norman from yesterday put out a performance, winning that 400.
Yeah, he
Uh,
he always used to make me nervous, but I've been watching that kid since USC
right.
days, and so it was great to see him win last night.
Yeah.
He's a very strong 400-meter runner, and so you
Mhm.
always worry about his finish. But
Yeah.
last night he got out. I
He
mean,
put it all
he was
together.
clearly to me he was clearly the defined winner right about a 300 mark. Oh, Michael Norman got this. This is
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. He said, I'm not going to fall asleep because he said he fell asleep in the semi. So he had to push to even
hmm
get first place. He said, I'm not going to fall asleep. It was like falling asleep at the wheel. I'm not doing that. He said, not this time. No, no, no. I'm just going to be aggressive. And you said around the 300 mark, he's got good finishing speed. So he
yeah,
definitely did that. And
yeah.
so I thought that was good. I'm trying to think of any other performance. What do you think of the 800 and
And the
all the
men's. Oh.
physicality, like the elbows and the and all that? It's like, and something they were like, the broadcast was like, well, if you don't think track and field is physical, you need to watch these races, and the 800 men's and the women's
All I
has
can tell
been
you is, as
impressive.
an official, I knew it was going to be some disqualifications.
Yeah, you could tell, and there was a lot of
Oh, that's a DQ.
protesting.
I can't
Yeah.
call. And I want to be clear. The official who sees these falls, like that's
Mhm.
on the field, the umpires who sees these falls, they don't disqualify people.
Yeah.
All they do is write up a card that says an incident happened. and then it gets reviewed. Um, and the powers that be make that decision,
Right.
not the official. But yeah, it was a lot of bumping yesterday. I mean, the other day for the 800, and I think I mean, we didn't have any men on the U.S. side who qualified.
Right. To qualify. Right.
The only one who did qualify prior to the disqualification was Coach.
Yeah.
He qualified
He
second.
did qualify second, but
Qualified, and then
he elbowed his way through the
Nona.
middle.
Yeah. So you know, it's been physical. I'm glad that it hasn't been that physical on the girls, on the ladies' side.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see that we've got three athletes that will be in the final for the 800.
Yeah. Yep. That's
On
tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. That's
Tomorrow
tomorrow
night.
about
Yep.
9 p.m.
Yep.
EST. So Raven Rogers, she always makes me so nervous, but
That's like Michael Norman. Yeah. Yeah.
she can run back there and fifth and sixth place, and then come up and that last 50 meters or so. I'm
Yeah.
just like, stop doing that to me.
She's got that Hayward magic. That's what she had. She
Yeah,
has that. I mean, and
yeah,
you're right. And a thing mode just looked very comfortable, strong. The 800 women's is gonna be that's gonna be a really good a good one too. And yeah, it's good. It's been there's so many, right? Benjamin, just Dos Santos, he did his thing
yeah,
in the 400 hurdles. I had a feeling
yeah,
he said, "Don't forget about me. I know you guys are talking about Warhol and Warholm and Ry Benjamin, but don't forget about me either. I'm right there in the mix." And
And
he
what
had a
about
great
the kid from Ashland University who came up and snagged that silver spot?
silver
I mean,
front. Yeah,
the bronze spot in the
bronze. Yep.
400 hurdles.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's
Been good.
it's been some amazing performances, not just in the gold medal, but people coming up and getting those silver spots.
Yep.
And the men's shot put went 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And that was cool. I was there for that was Sunday that happened, and I was there for that Sunday. And to watch those guys, do some, field events have gotten really popular here at the
They
track.
have.
They're really
Mhm.
popular.
And
So
they're starting to
a
show
lot
them a
of
little bit more
they're
too.
showing a little bit more, although the Peacock's coverage of it earlier on was, we didn't get to see a lot, but
Right.
when you're in the stadium, you actually get to see a lot more of the field events, and I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that because you don't typically you typically focus on the running, but they were really great in stadium about
Yeah.
highlighting, multiple events that were happening at the same time on the field side.
Yep.
So, like last night, I watched pole vault,
Yeah.
two
Yep.
rounds of pole vault happening at the same time, and women's javelin
Javelin throw. Yeah.
final
Yeah. Yeah.
at the same time. But we're watching all of it. They're telling us who's up next, what their throws are, what their height
Mhm.
is, and we're giving the claps to help motivate them. And so it's been great in the stadium. I just wish people outside of that could experience
Could
that.
see a little bit more. Yeah, I
Yeah,
wish they would
yeah,
do it. And like I said, the NBC USA has been doing a little bit more than what they usually do. But it's been yeah, it's been so great to see that because they're even spending like 15, 20 minutes. Usually it's like 5 minutes. They sneak in, they highlight a couple of athletes, and then now we're back on the track. It's like, no, we want to see some of these field events too. The shot, we want to see these field events. Like javelin throw, the high jumps, and we want to see all these things, and it's been wonderful. Just one more I wanted to get into was Devin Allen. How it was devastating and everything. I want to get your take on 100. Was it 100th, 1/10 of a second, 100th of a second of the reaction time? But what's your take on that when it's the computer generates how your reaction time is, and then the officials go by the computer? They Audible and the broadcast and St. Richard Ross, they had this 1960s thing that they've been doing, but what's your whole overall take on this and how they computerize when false starts, things like that?
well, I have to be very careful because I am an official, so I don't want to,
Okay, yes, yes, yes.
say anything
Yeah,
that would be damning.
I
But
know I don't want to put you on the spot like that.
um, one, when I saw Devin Allen, because I was there that night, um, and I saw the DQ.
Mhm.
the energy got sucked out of the room,
Mhm.
like outside. It
Yep.
it completely sucked because if you guys remember, right before that, um, we had the young lady from the Bahamas
Oh,
that
yeah, yes, in the 100. Yes.
DQ
Hmm.
in the same lane.
Yeah.
So, you know, the first thing I thought is, damn, they
Yeah.
DQ'd Devin Allen at the crib. Like
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
at home, this Oregon, like
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
dude is, and he got disqualified in the final.
Yeah.
And so for, as a fan, it's really disheartening. It's how do you recover from the marketability of that Devin Allen doing well at home on US soil,
Yep.
for track and field? That would have been, a great moment for,
For him.
he's going to the NFL next year. So that, you've got NFL players tweeting about Devin Allen, you've got the home crowd story, the
Mhm.
kid who went to Oregon and played football and ran track, who went on to win the world championships or place in the world championships on the US soil, the whole story. And,
Yep.
you know, what I will say is officials are held by what's in the rule book.
Mhm.
Regardless of their personal feelings, they're held by that rule book standards, even if they don't agree with them.
Right.
And if we're going to mix technology with decision making that can be detrimental, then we need to figure out how do we use it in a way in which there's checks and balances. You know what I mean?
Yep. Mhm.
If the computer is going to generate a sound in the ear of an official that recalls a race, then there has to be a way to balance or check to make sure that computer didn't fault. What is the percent of error? How are we calculating the percent of error from the computer with what actuality is? When's the last time we've done the testing to determine if that threshold um, is still valid in 2022 and into the future as humans continue to evolve? So I think that happening is an opportunity for track and field to go back and say, okay, some of the things that we've kind of set these rules or these standards by, we need to start making some adjustments so that we can account for um, human evolution in this sport, because we are seeing women run 400 hurdles in under
50
51
seconds.
seconds.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Sharika Jackson had a very similar reaction time in the 200 and broke her national record and the meet record, the
Yeah.
championship record.
Right.
So we're seeing quicker reaction times. How do we
Mhm.
now adjust our caliber to make sure that we are accounting for how we're watching and witnessing this evolution in the athlete? So I think USA Track and Field and IAAF and world federations need to come together and get with some scientists and figure out how are we going to modify, or what are we going to modify how we do things if we're going to mix official uh, decision making technology with the officials who have to operate and enforce these um, at the meets in order to
I
keep it fair.
I 100%. I can't couldn't say that any better than that. I totally agree. Because you said as a fan, we were disappointed, of course, because you're like Devin Allen, his story. Like I said, he's transitioned into Philadelphia Eagles, my squad, and hopefully he makes the team. But he's transitioning from that to the NFL, and it's one of those things like 100th of a second. It was like 100 of that point one reaction time. I had said when it happened, I was like, okay, how much of an advantage would he have gotten? Like he said, like a stopwatch. You can't even stop your stopwatch with just that. I said maybe 300th of a second,
And
maybe.
let's be clear, it was not before the gun.
Yeah,
Let's be
exactly.
clear.
Yes. Hmm.
That's let's be clear. It was his reaction time was not before the
The
gun. It
gun
was
went off.
after
Yeah.
the gun.
Is
It
after
was
no gun went
just,
off.
you know, really fast after the gun.
It was real fast reaction time. Yes, exactly. Exactly. So I thought like, okay, like in the NBA, they say, okay, you can't get a shot off with 1/100th of a second. You just can't. 3/10, 3/100th of a second, I think 3/10 of a second, 0.03, then you can. So if a track athlete, if they did it like if it was like 0.003, then I say, okay, now you could say they can get DQ'd or at least give them a warning. I wish they'd go back to the
I
rule.
think if we're going to use these things as standards, if we're going to use, we have to update the standard every 10 years. We don't get to keep a 60-year-old standard and say this is the standard.
Yeah, right.
That's the solution.
That's the solution. Exactly. That's the
It's
solution.
and I'm a project manager, and so I'm used to working with teams to figure out problems. How do
Right.
we have a problem? We have a clear defined problem. Now, how do we deconstruct that problem to figure out how do we then repair it, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what needs to happen in the circumstances. When it comes to timing, we need to deconstruct and figure out how do we get from here to here, and what do we need to do differently to do that. And if you bring to me as a project manager, you bring to me the problem that the rule is 60 years old, I'm going to say, okay, well, we need to update the rule. We need
You
to
update it. Yeah,
we need to
that's
update
it.
the
Just
testing.
update it.
We
Yeah.
need to figure out what that number actually looks like and the difference, and then how are we going to make our adjustments based upon that.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
what we do.
That's what you do. You update the rule, a 60-year-old rule, you update it.
You may not update the rule. But you have to do the work behind proving that rule right.
Yeah, you're right. And then make sure
Prove that rule that after 60 years that rule is still right.
Still
Show
right.
me mathematically, show me the data. I'm a data person. Show me the data that supports that in 2022 and beyond that standard can remain the standard.
the standard, right?
Show me that. Because if you can't show me that and I can show you otherwise, then we're gonna have to have a conversation about this is what my data shows, and this is what your 60-year-old data shows. Now we're going to have to make some hard decisions, because are we going to still go by this standard, or are we going to go by what my new data shows? So we need new data. We need new data. And everybody can argue and say they were wrong, this and that. Okay, bring the data. Go, one of you track nerds, go and get some world-class athletes and start building. Nike or ASICS is doing this meet.
ASICS is doing it, yeah.
New Balance, one of y'all support the science behind figuring out what the standard should be, and then take that to the powers that be and make a case for it.
All the federations and corporations, yeah.
Otherwise, all your math problems and all that stuff you guys have been posting on Twitter, it's great. But we need an actual study.
We need an actual study.
Yeah.
We need people to actually
do the action behind all the tweets.
Yes, right.
Somebody needs to get involved. If you need me to be a project manager for it, I'm available. Contact me at sportsandheels.com, or you can hit me on Instagram or Twitter. But we got to move that ball forward if we want to continue to not have opportunities like this, and it happening on U.S. soil.
Not a good look.
Not a good look. A lot of people were asking questions like, how do you recover? And as a digital project manager, working for a marketing firm, there's a lot of missed opportunities to market track and field much better here in the U.S. There were some, again, track community. You guys have been doing a fantastic job, but
yes,
from a marketing standpoint, they dropped the ball a lot, and then that hurts, because it's really a fantastic sport, a fantastic global sport. Let's not just get it twisted that this is just the U.S., but the popularity here in the U.S. is not where it could be. And a lot of it has to do with how we present the sport, from a marketing standpoint, from being able to find it from a broadcasting standpoint, because the athletes are phenomenal. It's not the athletes,
right?
Which is why I love the athletes. I love all of them. I had a guy ask me last night, "Well, who did you really come here to see?" I said,
everybody.
I came to see everybody.
Everybody.
This is world meet. Like, the United States is not the only, I'm a US kid. I love the US athletes, but they're not the only ones. It's like, this is a global meet. So I came to see everybody. Everybody who qualified for the world championship. I came to see you. I didn't come to see one person.
Right.
I came to see everybody.
Like you said, you love the the Grant Holloways and the Ry Benjamins, and we love all those.
I love all the
Sidney Mclaughlin,
past and present. Yesterday, I had a
it's
shirt
yeah,
on that had, Florence Griffin Joyner's name on it. It had Sonia Richards Ross. It had
yeah.
Allison Felix, which I get to see. So Allison Felix is running the 4x4.
Ooh, okay. Now that's got to be that's breaking news because there was no
She's
there.
running
I haven't.
today. She's running today in the heats of the 4x4. And I didn't get tickets for the first night, Friday night, when she ran her last race
Okay, yeah, the
in
first
the
night.
mixed
Yep,
4x4, and they got the bronze.
the
I wasn't
bronze. Yeah.
here for that. I was in Portland. I spent a couple of days in Portland before I came to Eugene, and I get to see Allison Felix run today,
Wow.
which I didn't
Yeah,
think I was going to get to
you're gonna be
see.
able
I
to
get to
see.
see
Yeah.
Allison Felix run today, so I'm really excited about that. So I mean, it's a lot of opportunities we can make this sport, a premier sport, and
Which it should be.
it starts by paying these athletes and making sure they have everything they need to continue to be on this world stage at this level. To know that these athletes have done what they've done in this games with the amount of support that they've not really had, some of them,
Yeah.
and the young ones, the older ones. I mean, it's been phenomenal. So the athletes, you've got the meat and potatoes as far as marketing in these athletes. We just got to figure out a way to, get them the shine that they absolutely deserve. These guys are real life Avengers.
Yes, as you said, real life Avengers. They're assembling like the Avengers, and they're doing their thing. But that's big because I thought Allison Felix, and there's been she was after she ran the 4x4 mix relay, that was it.
She was at the
But
ESPYS last night
yeah, she was at the ESPYS. Yeah,
in
so
LA. So she's coming back to
she's
Eugene and
coming
run.
back to Eugene and run the heats. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, because they were. I mean, that team that they had at the Olympics with the Little Muhammad and Sidney McLaughlin and a Thing Mo and Allison Felix. So I'm assuming. Well, Thing Mo, she's running 800 the same night, so I'm assuming she's not going to run the 4x4 on top of that. Okay. 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 So I guess they're running with the same squad then.
We're talking about a young buck here.
Yeah. True.
That's we're not talking about a 20, 28, 26, 36 year old.
Yes.
We're talking
Okay.
about them young
Them
fresh
young,
legs. She good.
yes.
She's good.
So
She's good.
I guess since you have that, they're probably gonna run that same team again.
I've been saying that since I've been saying that. Everybody's like, who are they going to put on the women's 4x4? The same team that went to
The
the
same that
Olympics.
just
They went to
dominated.
the
Okay.
Olympic final. Why would
Hey.
you? Why would you? Or well, Allison Felix is a little older. They're going to make sure Allison Felix did not get her gold medal on
Yeah.
Friday night. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
she didn't get her gold medal on Friday night. You mean to
But
tell me you
they
got
gotta
a
make sure.
USA Track and Field is not going to make sure Allison Felix go out with another gold medal? Come on.
Yeah, she's gonna get. She's
It's
gonna
gonna be
get
the same
that.
thing. And then when they
Listen,
said, well, she was at her last night and she officially retired, I told people like, well, I told you they were gonna put Allison on. Who are they gonna put in her place? I said, I promise you, it's gonna be Allison Felix. I promise you.
yeah,
And then last night, sure enough, well, last night for me, sure enough,
she's
they asked Allison Felix, she gonna do it. And I'm
she
like,
gonna do
they
it.
make an announcement that she's doing it. So
Okay, no,
all I
that's
know
that.
is
But that's an announcement because I'm usually plugged in too. But I thought like, okay, that's it. That was she ran the 4x4 mix relay, and I said, well, who they gonna put? We kept talking about that. That's like, well, Thing Mo, because she's running 800 final tomorrow on top of that. But it says she's gonna jump right in, and yeah, it makes sense. It makes total sense to have
what
both of
my
them.
thing is, what will Sydney's split be in the 4x4
Ooh,
Sunday night?
that's a good question.
It's gonna be nasty.
It's gonna
It's
be
gonna be
nasty,
nasty.
yeah. The way she's running,
It's
and
gonna be
oh my
nasty.
goodness, it's gonna be nasty. I can't
Mm-mm-mm.
wait. Tiffney, this has been again. I can't thank you enough jumping on here. Like I said, I just want to continue to highlight track and field. There's the world. They're on the world stage. This is the world championships. Like I said, not just USA, but all countries and all athletes from. I mean, like I said, Shelly and Fraser Price to just Sherika Jackson, all these great athletes, and
Shelly
I
Shelly Miller Weibo winning the
Weibo,
400
yeah,
last
won the
night. Yeah,
400. Yep, she won the
finally getting
400
her
as well.
world championship.
Mm-hmm. Finally got her worlds, yeah. So it's just been great to see. I had to get you on. I wanted to get you on. I said we got to try to make this happen. Let's do it on Saturday while you're there and everything too. So I know you're enjoying and going to enjoy this last 2 nights as well. Again, let everyone know where they can find you, follow your work, and everything that you got going on.
Okay, you guys can follow me on all social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter are my primary, and it's sports underscore the letter N as in Nancy in heels. And you can find me at my website, www.sportsandheels.com. You can always find me every other Monday on YouTube on a show called Matic Mondays. I am the co-host with Adrian Travel Matic. And so you can go to Travel Matic's YouTube, and it's just about travel, remote working, you know, living your dreams while you still got to
Yeah,
pay the bills, which is what I'm trying to do. So, you
yeah,
can follow me there every other Monday night.
definitely. And like I said, I had like I knew what track and field and what you do for it and working in it and really like I said, really into it. I had to get you on. So again, thank you. I can't thank you enough. Appreciate you doing this and enjoy the rest of the meets there. Haywood Magic. It's there. He said it's real and you're living it. So
Absolutely.
I really
No,
appreciate
thanks for
you.
having me on. It's been fun. It's been
Yes,
fun.
it's been fun again. And we have to do this again. Maybe do a recap of everything like later on. We'll do it again.
Anytime.
Yep,
Anytime.
no doubt. All right, then. Have a good one. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right, have a good one. All right, that was Tiffney Sports N Heels. I mean, this lady she lives and breathes track and field. Like as she says, she's a track nerd. She's run track. She works for U.S. Track and Field as an official. She's there. She's right in Eugene, Oregon right now, working and enjoying and really she's really plugged in. Like I said, she has all the subscriptions. She does all the, she does her website. She does reels. She does a podcast of track and field and travel. And she's on BS3 Network as well. So follow her and her journey. So I can't thank her enough. Thank you everyone that tuned in. Thanks for all the comments on Facebook. And also, like I said, we're on Roku, BS3TV, Roku channel, BS3TVLive.com. Get all of our shows as well. And everything. So again, I can't thank you guys enough for the support. Follow me at Get the Real Deal on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Get all the content. If you want to be a guest on the show, hit me up on social media. We're on all podcast platforms as well. Again, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Play, Anchor, Apple Podcast as well. BS3network.com. Yeah, that's a wrap for the show. Again, thanks to Tiffney Sports N Heels there for our guests. That's a wrap for the show. Thank you, everyone that tuned in. Stay safe out there in this heat. Peace. And as always, God bless.